Hi everyone and welcome to another Flosstube video. Welcome to Flosstube number 72. It has been 3 months since I last recorded, which also means that I have a lot of stitching to show you in this video. 93,809 stitches of stitching. But welcome! If you are new here, hi, my name is Marika and this is a channel mostly about cross stitching. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. And it's just crazy. There are 994 of you that have hit that subscribe button. It's just insane. I am 6 people away from 1,000 subscribers. 6 people! That is like... If you do enjoy this video, hit that subscribe button and you can see more videos. I hope to be able to get at least 1 video out a month, but we will see how my health handles it. I'm right now on 100% sick leave because my tummy still, they don't know what is going on with that, and I also have gotten migraines and have had a constant migraine for about 2 months now. So yeah, we'll see. But I hope to be back within a month. But this is just the beginning. We haven't gotten into all of the cross stitching. So hi again. Let's jump into the cross stitching. As I said, throughout these 3 months, I have stitched 93,809 stitches with 93 stitchy days out of 94 that average for 1,008 stitches per day. Nice, right? Nice. I have worked on 14 projects. 7 of them were new starts and 9 I have finished. So I have a lot of things to show you, so let's jump into it. But I do have to stop you there 2 seconds, and that is because a lot of the projects, especially those I'm going to show you here in the beginning, are Halloween projects. And for those Halloween projects, I have done replacements, and those replacements have been very specific. Any kind of white tone, so it's the white / Blanc, or the B5200 or the 3865 has been replaced with E940. E940 is the glow-in-the-dark thread from DMC, and what I just wanted to do a little quick highlight is that DMC have changed their E940 and it's so much better to stitch with. Yeah! So this is 2 different skeins of E940. I'm gonna see, I have this little one. I have some kind of little bell somewhere, and every time I get stuck on the table, I can hear it. And I hope you don't. We'll see if that is a sound that you will hear. Let's see. Yes, I fixed it. Sorry about that. But here are the threads. If you can see, the upper thread is the old one. The bottom thread is the new one. So E940 is a polyester thread because of being glow in the dark. And the previous polyester thread is more like an acrylic. It's have the consistency of acrylic. It has that matte feeling of an acrylic, and is actually a little bit more elastic than the cotton. It is a little bit harder to sew with, so it will slow down your stitching, and I did find myself wanting a little bit shorter lengths when working with this one. However, after doing a couple of projects, I needed to go buy some new ones, and I found this. This thread looks more like a regular cotton, right? It isn't regular cotton, it's still a polyester thread. It's still a little bit matte, so it still have a little bit of texture, but it's not as elastic as this thread at all. And it's also, it glides nicer through the fabric, even though it's not as nice as a cotton. So I do implore you, go and check out your E940 in your store and see if they have updated it with the new versions, because I really love the new versions. I am going to use up the old version because I need to. I have a lot of projects that I want to use it on. But then I'm really happy that the rest is going to be the newer version of the E940. So that is my little spotlight on the E940. Let's jump into my actual projects. The first and only fully finish is actually a new start and a finish. And in last video, sorry, I have spices in my throat. I drink spices with my coffee and sometimes they get stuck in my throat. I showed you some plans for August in July, and my plans was to stitch a bunch of projects out of the Just Cross Stitch magazine Halloween 2025. Now I put them all into a pumpkin lantern. However, I did switch it out later on to this like fluffy spider cauldron or something. It's a little bucket, really. It's a fluffy spider bucket. It is super adorable and it's also super soft. But in it I have a whole bunch of little papers that represent different projects out of the Just Cross Stitch magazine. And I picked out one of these every time I wanted a new project. I picked out one of these, and I think I ended up doing 4 out of the 15 that I showcased in July, and it was spread over August, September and October. It was just one of those things. I didn't end up having the brain space to change project as often, so in between the smaller project I actually spent quite long time on my longer project, just so you know. But this is the finish. This is called Graveyard Biscornu, which is a super adorable Biscornu. It is a square that you stitch. So on the top you have 2 spiders and 2 ghosts, and on the bottom you have 2 gravestones and 2 skulls. And you stitch 2 squares. One have all of the designs and one have just the corner designs, and then you sew them together to make a Biscornu. To make a Biscornu you also need stuffing and you need buttons. I have 2 of them, so I have a button. This is to help pull the thread without hurting the fabric. So the button is where when you knot this, you want to take and knot it quite hard, and it's easier to do that with a button. So I have this, which is just from my scrapbooking supplies, and then I have this bigger one. I bought a whole bag full of different sizes and different versions of these, so I finally found a use for it. This is stitched on Granite, which is a 32 count Evenweave by Zweigart. It is a wonderful Zweigart color. It is a warm gray, so if you're looking for a warm gray, this is a perfect color for that. It's also one of the mid-tones, so the white and the black both pop on the fabric really well. So I do love this one. Super adorable, and I'm super happy to have it in my stash. Sorry for the kitty glitter. I have 2 cats. However, how long I roll my projects, there's still kitty glitter all over them, so it's a bonus. That's just how we're gonna see it. Well, that was project number 1. Let's go to project number 2. Oh, did I say? This is by KEB Studio Creations from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2025. It has 3,486 stitches, and I stitched it over 5 days. I'm gonna go to my other projects, and I had to turn them around because I've done this once before. But yeah, the other project I have, or the second project I have, is actually the project I started August with, and then I had a break and did the Biscornu, and then I came back to it. But I did end up spending 24 days stitching this. It has 22,040 stitches, and it's called Witch's Hollow, and it's by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So this is the project, which I love. This is also, I've replaced all the white with E940, like on most of the Halloween projects in this list. As I said, it's called Witch's Hollow. It's by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It is a purchase pattern from their website. I bought the PDF version. It is stitched on 32 count pumpkin with a Charted DMC 2/1. I love this color. The pumpkin is not the like a bright orange. It's a little bit gray toned. It's a little bit dusky. It's not super dusky, but it's a little bit dusky, which means that in Here it shows up fairly bright, but it's not as bright, and I like a kind of a muted orange, and it works perfectly with this. It was very similar to the mottled fabric they had as their example fabric, so that worked out great. So if you want to see it a little bit closed up, you have all the oranges, the purples, and the witch, and then you have the houses, which is looks so good, and at the bottom you have the 2 black cats. I really love this project. It was super fun to stitch on. And it was the first part that made me do like more monogamous stitching, because I just didn't want to put this down, so I didn't. When I had finished that though, I picked up another one of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2025 edition project. That is Ghostly Heights. Oh, fabric. I have way too much fabric on this because I didn't cut the fabric down. I just started in a corner. But this is by Haunted Frames. It's called Ghostly Heights. It is stitched on a 32 count black even weave. All my fabrics are even weave. I have nothing but even weave right now. So it's a 32 count black even weave. I have replaced the white with the E940 again. This has 2,397 stitches, and it took me 2 days to complete. This was a very quick stitch. Sometimes you think that black is going to be harder to stitch on, but this was in August, so it was quite a lot of light. I think I had sunny days, and then it just took a lot less time to stitch. So here's that one. I really love this project, and I really love the designer Haunted Frames. She's on Instagram, so if you want to see more of her, you can find her there. Then my order from WIPGO came in. I have a little store on Etsy right now called the Craftybit Shop. I am starting my store, my own Shopify store. So if you go to the craftybitshop.com, you can sign up for the newsletter if you're interested to see when all my projects come out there. I have a couple of patterns that I haven't released yet that I want to release there. And all the products that I have on Etsy will be moved over to that store. But I still have my Etsy store open, and on Etsy I do sell the Mill Hill kits. And I got the Mill Hill kit, I got the new Jim Shore collection, and this is the project that I just started with because I was like, it's autumn, I need to stitch this. This is Harvest Pumpkin Gnome. It's from the Jim Shore collection 2025. It has 1,292 stitches and beads, and it took me 2 days to complete. It is super adorable, don't you think? I really love how he has a corn on the cob on the top of his pumpkin hat. So yeah, super adorable. Really love this project. It was super fun to stitch and fairly quick too. Next project in line is actually a work in progress that ended up being finished. So this is how it looked before. This is called Autumn Love. And I am going to show you the finish, so therefore I don't show you how it's supposed to look because that is coming up. But this was how it looked before. Since then I have stitched 6,938 stitches. Of the 22,201 stitches, I put in 8 days on this project. The project is by Lori Holt under Be In My Bonnet Co. And here is it finished. Look. Isn't it gorgeous? Like the whole thing. It's like quilt and full and beautiful. It is stitched on a 32 count vintage country mocha. Even weave again. I love my even weaves and I love the mochas. Like all the vintage are, they're very lightly mottled, but they still make it like a little bit more alive. This is about what I have stitched. I've stitched from and with the text and everything at the same level and below. So it was quite a lot of stitches, almost 7,000 stitches that I've did, but it's now done. So now I can put that into a box because I have a plan to stitch 2 more from, like, there have been releases every year of patterns about the same size, and I want to stitch 2 more and then do a quilted wall hanging with all 3 of them hanging. So this will be put away until I finish the other 2 and I have made that wall hanging. But that is finished, which is super nice because that means I also have a whip less. All the other projects that I've shown you has been starts and finishes, so none of them was started before August. And this is another start and finish, and that is another from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, Halloween 2025, and this is Raven Rose. This is designed by Jessie Schofield. It is on 32 count. And as you see here is more like true to color. It is a vintage smoky white fabric, 32 count, Evenweave of course. It is 1,318 stitches and it took me 2 days to complete. And a little fun fact about this, I usually have 3 inches as the border, so 3 inches at the top and 3 inches at the bottom. So I add 6 inches to any design count so that I can figure out how much fabric I need. Well, this time I was a little bit tired when I did this. This is when my migraine started to set in, and I accidentally only added 3 inch. So this only have 1.5 inch on the edges, but it was small enough to fit in my 6 inch Q-snap, and then 1.5 inch works. But when I work in my 8 inch Q-snap, I really need those 3 inches on the fabric. I could also just add some like quilt fabric or cotton fabric around it with my sewing machine, but nah, I stitched that in my 6 inch. Anyhow, I have my next project, which was also a Just Cross Stitch magazine project, and this is the last of them, and it's also it's not my last Halloween. I have one in the work of progress, but it's the last finished Halloween project. This is Let the Ghosts Out. It is designed by Stitch Crypt. It was in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, Halloween 2025, as the others. It is stitched on 32 count Stormy Grey, vintage Stormy Grey. It was 3,255 stitches and I did it over 4 days. So that is the project. By the way, when I say I stitched it over 4 days or 3 days, that doesn't mean 4 full days. It means that I started stitching it and I registered stitches on it for 4 days, but it could have been like I stitched on one project like 1,500 stitches on a bigger project, and then I just put this in the frame and put in like 200 stitches on this. So there are overlaps. If you would count together all of the days I've said, like this is 24 days and this is 2 days, it will be more than 94 days because many of the projects have overlapping days when they start and finish. Like the Raven Rose and this does have an overlapping day, and Autumn Love and Raven Rose have an overlapping day. So technically Raven Rose was done on like 2 half days, but I counted at 2 days. Just to know, this is, if I haven't said it, it's designed by the Stitch Crypt. So if you want more designs like this, go and find the Stitch Crypt over on Instagram, because she has a lot of cool designs. They. Stitch Crypt have a lot of cool designs. But yeah, that is that one. Here, a few notes. This the project in the Just Cross Stitch magazine was charted in Cosmo, but it had a DMC conversion. This one is the DMC conversion because I don't have Cosmo. So this has slightly different colors, and I actually appreciate the DMC colors a little bit more. And I really like it. So I'm gonna find a oval frame or something for it so I can get it up next year, because we're not in November now, so I won't be able to do that. The next finish is actually one of my cells. So in the beginning of this year, I started the Year of the Snake cell. I had stitched the Year of the Dragon Sow together with Hugo Stitcher and more, and I really enjoyed it. And when I saw it was the Year of the Snake, I wanted to make a snake. However, no one else started the Year of the Snake Sow, so I decided, let me do that. I have been stitching on this since late January, I think, when the year got into the Year of the Snake. And the idea was that I would stitch a quarter month. A quarter per quarter. So I would stitch a quarter of the design per quarter of the year. However, I actually did finish it this time, and it was about almost half of it that I finished this time. This design is by Needle Designs. I love it. The sharding is just gorgeous. It's called Pretty Python, and here it is. There you go. It is 7,819 stitches, so it's not as big as many of my projects are. And this time around I stitched 2,991 stitches, and it took me 3 days to finish this off. And I can honestly say one of those 3 days were like 2 hours, because I had a couple of colors left on the bottom of the snake that day, so it didn't took really 3. It is stitched on 32 count vintage country mocha, again Evenweave. The image or the stitched pattern on the pattern, or the stitch image on the pattern, was stitched on vintage country mocha linen, so I thought going with the Evenweave would be perfect, and I really like how it comes out. It really pops on the fabric. So that is my Year of the Snake Sow, and that is now finished. So now we are waiting until the next Chinese New Year to figure out what animal are we going to stitch next. I do have one more finish left, and this is actually a project that has found its way out from the UFO pile. So I have a little UFO piles. I only have 3 projects, or had 3 projects on that pile, and this is one of them. I started stitching on this when the Cross Stitch Gold bird collection came out in 2024. I took a break from it this year because it's a lot of backstitching. It's a lot of black work on this, and I wasn't as happy with it. But after stitching Pretty Python, I decided, hey, I want to reduce the amount of whips that I have in my whip list that are really UFOs. They stay the way I have set up my Notion, because I store everything in Notion. They stay there and they're kind of in the way. So I wanted to reduce that, so I decided to pick this out to finish it, and actually took less than a day to finish. I think it took like half a day to finish, because I only had the black work up here plus a little bit of backstitching on the bird. So that is now a finish. I was planning to do this for 4 projects, so I had actually put the stitches down for all 4 projects, but I have decided not to go with the other 3 of them. This is the only one I finished, and I actually only worked 1 day on this. So yeah, it is finished. It is off my whip pile, or my whip list. So yeah, that's wonderful. I'm really happy about that. So now I have done all of my finishes. So we are going to go to my works in progress, and that one is actually in a frame. I should probably pick it out of the frame, because I need to move the frame anyhow, but you're getting it in the frame because I don't want to. Also because the backstitching lies so much nicer when it is taut. I am going to lace this when it's done anyhow, so I'm just going to show you this way. This is Sailing Ship. This is designed by Amanda Butler. It was in the Cross Stitcher February 2024 magazine. You can still get all of these, the Just Cross Stitch magazine, the Cross Stitcher magazine, all of this in the apps. I have the apps. I have the apps for iPad, and I get them from there. So this is from the Cross Stitcher. It's an English based, UK based cross stitch magazine. Oh, words. Magazine. It gives out, I think, 12 magazines a year. Just Cross Stitch gives out 6 magazines a year, and that includes the Christmas and the Halloween special. So yeah, but this is Cross Stitcher. It's done on 32 count white Evenweave. I'm not super fond of stitching on white Evenweave, and especially don't like to stitching light tones or white on white. However, it actually came together fairly fast. I stitched 5,132 stitches over 5 days, and I have about 36% left on this, so a little bit more than a third, and that's mostly just the ship and the water. So I'm really happy how it's coming along, and hopefully next time I show you this it is done. However, I'm taking a little bit of a break of it to work a little bit on my WIPGOs. Now we have the last one, which is a new start, and this is the fabric is a little bit wrinkly, but that's how it is. I had one more Halloween project. I stitched on it for 3 days and then decided to take a break, and I will pick this up later, but maybe not this year. This is Unseen Shadow by Doreen Jones. Doreen Jones does a lot of magazines, but this specific one I picked up on her Etsy store. It is stitched on Granite, the 32 count Granite by Zweigart, and I have made some changes on this. This only have 3 colors. It has a black, a white, and an orange. And the white I'm using the glow in the dark so that I can get fun glow in the dark effects. And the orange I'm going with the 922 because it is as close to the pumpkin fabric that I did for the Witch's Hollow. So I thought when hanging side by side they will be very equal in tone, because that one also have a lot of warm grays in it. So that's why I chose the other orange, and I also kind of like this orange a little bit more. So that is where I am with that. And as I said, I stitched 2,866 stitches on that, and then I decided to put it on the WIP pile. Now I have gone through all of those projects. I still have my WIPGOs. So we are going to go through the WIPGOs and then the plans, and then we're done for today. I'm trying to get this a little bit faster than usual. So for WIPGO August, WIPGO, by the way, if you don't know what it is a competition. Okay, that was a tape roll. But yeah, it's a kind of a game. It's not a competition. It's a game that Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff have created. Every month you do a WIPGO board that is 25 slots, and you however you want to do it. I have a standard WIPGO board, so I have 1 to 5 at the top, and then just go down like the 6 to 10 and so on and so forth. I haven't reordered them, which I will do next year because it could be fun to get bingos and stuff like that. But then I have added different projects to different days. I don't have 25 different projects. What I've done is I've taken all of my full coverage projects, said that for every WIPGO number I'm going to put in 1,500 stitches on the corresponding project, and then I just mixed and matched the numbers and the projects and put them together, and now I think it's about 8 days per project, except for one that get 9 days because of the number. No, not 8, 6. 6 times 4 is 24, so 6 days per project, except for one that they got 7 projects because they're 25 days. Anyhow, for August the numbers 12 and 15 were drawn, and both of them was Christmas House 1. Now I put in some time on Christmas House 1 in August, but I also picked it up again in October because I was feeling Christmas. It was getting cold, it was chilly, and all I wanted to do was do Christmas. So in the end, I ended up actually putting in 17 days on this. I stitched 14,245 stitches, and this is where we are. Well, this is where we were. I have to remember this. This is where we were. This was where the project looked like before I picked it up. And now 14,245 stitches later, this is where we are. As you can see, most of it is actually stitched on this side here. So I've done the snow-capped house and the start of the rooms at the bottom. That is the progress I've gotten. And this one actually have hit 2 goals. The first goal is I actually hit 100,000 stitches on this. 100,000 stitches. And then I also hit my yearly goal. My yearly goal is 30,000 stitches on all my full coverages because I want to see progress on them. Anyhow, this was Christmas House 1. It is by RTC Cross Stitch and it is stitched on 25 count white, and then I have gridded it with fishing line. I recommend just go home and get the Easy Grid fabrics by Zweigart. It's so much easier. They wash it out at the end of the day. You just wash it out. So yeah, that was for August. For September, I have my 2 projects from Unconventional Cross Stitch. I really love Ivy Dollamore. And by the way, if you like Ivy Dollamore, right now, the Unconventional Cross Stitch is retiring Ivy Dollamore. I don't know exactly the date that they disappear. So if you also want to stitch these, run, don't walk. Run to Unconventional Cross Stitch and pick them out, because Ivy Dollamore is getting retired. Sadly, I'm a little bit sad about it, but hey, that's how it is. So the first project that I picked up for September was number 18, which is Rose Library, and I stitched 5,991 stitches on this, and it took me 8 days because it was a lot of confetti. But yeah, this is where I am now. I've stitched basically the 2 windows and I really like it. I still have a bunch of stitches left to reach my yearly goal. So that is where we are. All of my full coverages are full cross 2/1 on 25 count. That is my preferred. You get a kind of a tough fabric from it, which I really like. And also you get really good coverage, even from the 310 black. The second number for September was Cauldron of Myrrh. This is also Ivy Dollamore from Unconventional Cross Stitch, and I put in 8,443 stitches, and I did a row finish. So this is the full size of the fabric or of the project. It will not be wider. It is complete. The first page row is done. Right? It's so cool. It's so cool. So this is where we are. I still have some around, I think 7,000 stitches left on this to reach the yearly goal. Now, October had number 6 and 17, which is Gamer Nouveau. However, November also have Gamer Nouveau, and I'm currently stitching on Gamer Nouveau for November. So I thought I will show you my progress on Gamer Nouveau next time we meet, because it's in the frame and I'm stitching on it. So yeah, you will see it next time. So that is all of the stitching I have for you. I do have some plans. My plans for the upcoming November and December is fairly simple. One of the things I really want to concentrate, and I think I will do here in the beginning of November, is to get my projects up to their goals. So I have 2 projects from the Ivy Dollamore that I want to get up to 30,000 stitches, and Gamer Nouveau is already there. Christmas House 1 is already there, so I have those two. I also have a goal on my Paris market by dimension, and I want to get that also to its designated goal. I have a dimension ornament kit that is halfway done. I want to get that finished, which is a Christmas ornament, so that is going into Christmas. And then when I was looking for the pattern for the birds, because I wanted to work from the magazine, because you have the best, when you zoom in, you have really good, the picture is very good. It's not, when you make it into PDF and you start zooming in, it gets a little bit grainy, but when you work from the apps, it isn't. And I work from the PDFs when I do cross stitching, but when I do back stitching or black work, I work from the apps. Anyhow, when I was looking for the bird, I went through all my bookmarked from my World of Cross Stitching magazine, and I found this Christmas stocking, an image of a Christmas stocking with 2 hedgehogs in it, or it's 1 hedgehog. Anyhow, it's adorable. I think it is Margaret Cherry, but it could be the companions, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you all of that in the next video, I hope, but that project is also on the list. And now I'm telling you the November-December list, however, I hope to be back earlier than that. I want to get into a 2 videos a month schedule, and I'm hoping that my health is gonna allow me to do that now that I am on sick leave and actually can rest in between and everything. So we'll see, we'll see. That was all of the stitching. I did want to get into a very short like update, health and life update, because life has been crazy. So let's start with my health update. I said I am on full-time sick leave. That is because my tummy is still not, they're still not figure out what's wrong with it. I ended up getting the MRI. The MRI looks great. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't find anything in there, which on one hand is very nice, because that means it's not a issue that you need to have surgery or anything. However, we still don't know what the problem is. So yeah, but I also have changed doctors. The gastro specialist that I was with, he has kind of come to a, I don't have anything else I can help you with, so I am transferring you to a neuro-gastro specialist at a research hospital. I have met that doctor, I've taken some tests with him, and he actually have some ideas. Some ideas is probably mute already. I've got tested a medication for about a month or so, and it's not working the way we were hoping it would work. But the test I took did show something else, so we'll see what more comes out of it. I'm still sick, my tummy is still broken, so it's not like there's been any changes there, but it's getting forward, we're getting forward there. Probably because of my tummy issues, but also because apparently my eyesight had gotten really worse. I have been having migraines. I was at my optician the other week and found out that my glasses needs to be changed. They have risen, they said 3 points, which meant 0.75. So I had -5 on one of my eye, and that is now -5.75, and the other eye was -4.75 and is now -5.5. So hopefully with new glasses, some of the migraine and some of the headaches will kind of go away, but we'll see, we'll see. Then we have the third thing, and that is sadly that I'm also unemployed at the moment. My health, I fought too hard to try to work instead of trying to get, well, I tried to get sick leave earlier this year and it didn't go very well. My doctors were sending me back and forth between different doctors that said, no, he needs to write the papers, no, he needs to write the papers. And in the end, I just gave up. was in between 2 jobs. Anyhow, I was paid, so I didn't need the money in between those jobs. So I kind of just ignored it. However, I should have gotten papers then. But so I tried to push myself to actually try to work even though I was sick. That wasn't a very good thing. So in the end, the company I signed up with, they have a certain amount of period where they don't need to tell you why they fire you, because in Sweden you cannot fire a person because they are sick. But they didn't need to tell me, so they could just fire me and during that period, and they did, sadly. So apparently right now I am unemployed. I'm on 100% sick leave, and we'll see what life will bring. However, I'm sort of in a better mood, in a better place mentally than I was just a couple of weeks ago. I do feel that I have the like fighting energy back, that I am going to make this work. We are gonna figure this out. I think that my doctor finally said, yeah, I understand what we are talking about, and yes, I will have the responsibility of putting your sick leave on. That made it so much, like, that was a huge thing falling off my shoulders. And I think that helped me to like, okay, I'm gonna fight for this. We're gonna find what the problems is, and I'm gonna get to some kind of health back. Sometimes that takes time, but yeah. That was all for me today. If you like this video, please thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. That means so much for me. I really appreciate that. It would be so cool if we could hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. It is a goal of mine, and like with 6 people, maybe I should be able to hit it by New Year. Maybe. It would be awesome if you would like to join this little craziness. I'm hoping to be able to update you a little bit more often with all of the projects, and as I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm also feeling to change projects a little bit more. But yes, thank you so much for coming back. I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks time, but definitely within a month, and I'll see you then. Have a super great start of November, and I'll see you later. Bye!